Good morning. Yes, there she is. Got a little bunny rabbit over here. See if we can't get back on him. Oh, there he is. Yeah, did I lose him? I think I lost him, guys. Hopefully you got that glimpse of him. Oh no, there he is. He's eating. Hang on, let's see if I can't. There he is. Beautiful way to start our video. Watching this little bunny rabbit eat. It's probably like, I don't watch you eat. What are you bothering me for? And he's just a little guy. There he is. He's really not far in front of us. I'm just paused. I'm not trying to move. I don't want to scare him. He'll, I'm sure, make his way across. Pretty baby. See how he almost blends in with the rocks? Kind of crazy, huh? What's he doing? I can't tell you how close he is. He's not even 5 feet from me. Aw. Pyaar was so good. She stayed completely still. So hopefully you didn't find that too boring. 2 minutes of watching a baby bunny. But we have another gorgeous day. Actually, not a cloud in the sky kind of day. Amazing. Absolutely beautiful. Mountain range in the distance. And little Miss Pyaar. She was so good not going after the bunny. And good morning, here I am. How are you today? It is early. I guess getting up this early is what happens when you don't go to sleep at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting to bed a little bit earlier and getting up a lot earlier. I was up this morning at 5:30 and all on my own, no alarms. Come on, little girl. And out the door by 6. So let's go, pretty girl. Let's get a walk in. So, and we got to see a baby bunny up close and personal. Yay. How are you today? How did you sleep? Are you getting enough sleep? How was your day yesterday? Oh, a little chilly in the shade. Walk quicker to get out of it. Oh, what were your challenges? Your successes? How did you handle the challenge? Because how you handle the challenge is your success, really. Because life is full of those challenges. But you're not the only one that has them. And sometimes sharing those challenges helps others. Because even though somebody sits here and says, oh, you're not the only one, you feel very alone in whatever it is you're going through. And it's this connection that helps us, right? Our friendships, be it parasocial or live and in person, right next to one another kind of relationships. Regardless, it's those relationships that help us out. So Tell me, how are things going for you? How are your connections? How are your friendships? I am so blessed. I have so many great friends. And it took a long time to get those great friends. Some people have friends that are lifelong friends, which I think is amazing. My mother-in-law had those kind of friendships. Some of them had gone to school together and had their babies together and raised their kids together, living on the same block or in the same apartment complex, that kind of thing, which to me is wild and amazing. And I only say that because, you know, I grew up, well, for the first 15 years, I lived in Southern California. And then my mom and dad got married. And once we hit a certain age, they were willing to have us travel. But for those first 15 years, anyway, of my life, we were in that one place. And then we got to travel. So we did see, I don't want to say quite a bit, but we lived in a few places in the US. And we went to Guam. And that's just part of a military life. And I am so grateful for that, because as I would tell people when they'd be like, isn't that hard? You have to move around all the time. And it's like, you know, I feel like I got to see more of the US than most people will see in a lifetime. I'm looking over, because hopping alongside me, I don't know if it's the same bunny, but there's another bunny. I stop, he stop, I moves, he moves. Oh, he just went a little deeper. Okay, neat. I'd like to think it was the same bunny. He decided to walk with us. So, anyway, I didn't have, I don't want to say I didn't have the opportunity to have those kind of relationships, but I just didn't have those kind of relationships. And I don't think it's because we moved so often. If anything, it's just because of me. You know, maybe where I was, the kind of kid I was. I mean, I had friends, associates when I was growing up. Come on, you. So it's not like I didn't know kids my age, but never kept in touch with them. I don't even remember like getting phone numbers and stuff like that and addresses before we left California. So can't say that. I'm going to say that's a me thing. Good morning. It's okay. Are we friends?
She wanted to.
The people we meet on our path, our journey.
Come on. Oh, there you go.
Yep. Okay. I'm good. How are you this morning?
Good.
Good. Love your pants. Yes, that is an agreeable. Well, the people we meet on our path. That lovely lady and her puppy. So Pyaar got to say hi. And then a lady on a bike. And I did like her pants. They were bright and colorful. I don't know if you heard, but she's like, I want to stay visible, which makes perfect sense. It was like that when I rode a motorcycle. My jacket was, and my helmet were black and hot pink. You're going to see that. So anyway, we were talking about connections and friendships. And since I have no recollection of getting phone numbers and addresses of friends. Also, thinking back on it, and my memories of my younger years, not the best. My memories aren't the best. I'm not saying those years weren't the best. I can't say those years weren't the best because I really don't have recollection of them. But I don't recall there being any one friend that I could say, oh, I had this best friend in elementary school. I don't. The only girl's name that I remember from being in California, a Spanish girl, and her name was Letitia. I remember her name. But it wasn't one of those friendships where you go and you hang out at one another's houses and we sit and have lunch together. Not like that. I don't remember ever having those kind of relationships when I was young. Interesting. Yeah, that, and then when I moved to Guam, only one person's name comes to mind. I made one friend, and we never stayed in touch. Her name was Carolyn DeToli. So if you know her, or she's watching, I have fond memories of our friendship on Guam. And I'm sure she was another military brat, Navy brat, Air Force brat, I don't know. But I remember her name. I remember she was tall and super skinny and had blonde hair, curly blonde hair, I believe. And that's all I remember as far as those times and years went. So that's okay. I don't live there, I live now. I live here and I live now. So, and maybe that's why I don't have those memories, because maybe all along I've lived in the here and now. Just a thought. But, I mean, obviously I did have friends. Had to, right? I've never been an unsocial person. And let's see. Yeah. But my adult friendships, so grateful for them. I did meet one lady, her name is Maggie Malore. And Maggie, I met on Guam. And I would hope she's still with us, but I don't know. I know that her husband passed away. And it was sad. Very sad. Because they weren't that old. And she was older than me. I graduated on Guam, and my first job out of high school was in a deli on base. And she was the lady I worked with. I don't know that I'd say I worked for her, but I only remember her and I working. I know she didn't own the deli, that's why I say I didn't work for her, but, and it was probably my favorite job, working at the deli. Had that lunch rush. We'd get in early, we'd pre-slice meats for different sandwiches, so we'd have stuff ready and get it in the refrigerator. And then, people would come in and order their sandwiches. Sorry, I coughed and I coughed right in towards the microphone. I'm so sorry. Cough the other way. So, yeah, really loved that job. And she's the one that taught me how to count change. Never learned that in school. She taught me how to do that. Good morning. So, yeah. And I went to visit Maggie at her house when we all got back to the States. Went once to see her. I can't remember the name of the river she lived on. But she lived on a river. And I remember one year there was, I guess, a heavy snow, and then the snow melts and the river flooded, went over the banks, flooded her house. And I remember her telling me she had to move everything up to the top floor and all that. And she worked in a sewing factory, which they don't have in the States anymore, as far as I know. Or at least not like they used to. Textile factories. Used to be a lot of them in the Pennsylvania area. I think they all closed down. Maybe they'll open up again, who knows? Although I think it's probably doubtful. But that used to be a thing. And Maggie and I kept in touch for a while. Then we just kind of fell out of touch. And then I made wonderful friends in Florida. And all of the friends, well, with the exception of my friend Lauren, all of the friends I made were through yoga. Either from being a student at Moksha in Wellington, or from having my own studio and just developing those relationships with the people that came. And so, and I cherish those people. And what brings it up, oh, well, hang on. There's a little Where's Waldo moment. You see the bunny hiding there? Oh, I'm sure now you saw him because his head turned. And there is a second bunny as well. The one is eating. Let's see. Have I gotten to them? There's the one that's still. And the one that's eating isn't far. It's right in the clearing over there. There's a lady walking, and they're both really still right now. But they're on the path, guys. They're not going to hurt you. All right. They're like, we don't want to be filmed. Lots of bunnies out today. Of course, it's very early. So I'm sure they're out before it gets too hot. Let's see if we can get that sun away. And you see my icky hair. Let's see. Anyway, those friends. And I talk to them semi-regularly. I think we keep in touch more. You know, as much as social media is not good, I think that it's good too. I mean, I learn a lot, right? Learn little crafty things. You can learn how to do things yourself. I mean, I looked up how to deodorize the air conditioner in my car, watching YouTube video. I've learned how to, I have that touch faucet. I've learned how to do a couple of things with that touch faucet by watching YouTube videos. And if you're a friend of mine and you're watching these, you get to keep up with my life if I don't talk to you every day. And even if you're just an acquaintance of mine and you kind of miss seeing one another, you know, you get to keep up. You get to catch up. So it's good for those kind of things. I think, like everything in life, we're going to get out of social media what we intend to get out of social media. So if we intend for it to be something good and positive, that's what we'll get out of it. Because we always have the choice to scroll on. So if we see something or we get something that we don't agree with, then I have to see what she's doing, what she's sniffing at. Then we can always scroll on. Like, we don't have to stop and go into a tirade. Sorry, I got an alarm popping up. I need to dismiss my alarm. So just scroll on. You do not have to sit there and be mean and nasty. You watch this, you stumble upon it, and you're like, oh my God, she's ugly, she's boring, she's whatever. Scroll on. That's fine. There's no love lost. Also, keep in mind, when you're trying to build a channel, there's a school bus coming. When you're trying to build a channel, you want engagement. So any engagement, positive or negative, is a positive. So people that think that they're hurting an online creator by popping off and being contrary or mean and ugly, look at YouTube, the algorithms. They don't care what you're saying, as long as you're saying something. So, as long as the creator's got some thick skin, it's not gonna bother them. It's more of a thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for commenting. And then just let it roll. Which really, we should be that way in life anyway. Oh, how pretty. All right, guys. I have to flip you around again. Look at the buds on this. Look at that. I think I'm pulled back. Okay, there we go. It's part of this plant here. And those are the flowers. Pyaar's pulling me. She's like, let's go. So, yeah. I like to share the beauty that comes across my path when I see it with you all. And there's several of those plants along the sidewalk, so that one just happens to kind of arch out over the sidewalk. No, ma'am. So, talking about engagement, talking about friendships. I'm gushing about my friends. I love them. We've been through a lot together. These are my, and as I said, I don't have any long-standing, meaning like childhood friends that are friends as adults. But in the relatively short time, and I say relative, right? 15 years for some of my friends, maybe 20. One person known far longer than that. Let's see. I think Lauren has the longevity award. Lauren and I have I've known her the longest. She and I have been friends the longest. Goodness, our kids met in T-ball, and that's when we met. So Nick would be 30, what, 36? And kids in T-ball are probably, what, first graders? So I don't know how old a first grader is. But that would be how long we've known one another. On a main road, but it's still kind of early, so hopefully the traffic noise won't be too bad. But, and we've been through some stuff, all of us. We've, been there for one another. And with the exception of Lauren. All my other friends didn't know me before Nick passed away. So Lauren was there for that kind of hell. And my other friends were there for all the rest of the hell. And I was there for them through their hells. And, you know, I say that, and I am well aware that everybody has their stuff that they go through in life, and it all affects us differently. And there is no right or wrong. None whatsoever. And it's just so important that you know that you have somebody. You know, that there is somebody there that cares. But if you don't, you know, turn to that person, then, you know, and you're feeling alone, that's kind of on you, right? If you don't share that you're going through a breakup or that you're having a hard time with somebody, how are they supposed to know? How are they supposed to be there for you? Right? And they want to be there for you. They like you. You know? We're friends. We love one another on one, you know, some level. Love gets thrown around a lot, yes. But I think that it's so important to realize that there are these levels to love, like there are levels to friendship. So, you know, just know that we all know somebody. And some friends are, I mean, let's see. You can categorize friendships, right? There are friends that are the ones you're going to turn to and cry on. And then there are your friends that, come on girl, are the ones that they're your good time friends, right? They don't want to hear any of the bad stuff. They just want to have a good time. And that's all you're there for too, when you're with them. They're the ones you're going to a concert with. They're the ones that you're going shopping with, whatever your good time is. And you've got the friends that are in the trenches with you. And you got the friends who have the trunk and the shovel and the plastic wrap. You got those friends too. That's a joke, kind of. So, but they're all your friends and they all fulfill needs in different ways. And I will say with my friends, and I have said this, like when I moved, I'm like, I am not the best at keeping in touch. I'm not the person that's going to be picking up the phone once a week and calling and saying, hey, how are you? What's going on? No. That is not me. Although there's not a day that goes by that I don't think of you. And that I don't have a fond memory float through my head. Or that I'm shopping and I see something and I'm like, oh my God, she would love this. And it just so happens that my friends are girls, you know, they're the she friends. There's he friends out there. I know that. I had a guy friend. He committed suicide because he felt alone in his pain, even though I was there. And even though we would have these deep conversations, he still felt very alone. And he was fighting his own demons that he couldn't come to reality, to grips with. And it's a shame, but, you know, that is the path he chose. And I love him nonetheless. He was my friend that it didn't matter. I could have been wrong, 100% wrong. And he like, no, you're right. Of course you're right. Mentioned that somebody was snarky or it seemed like somebody didn't like me or what have you. He'd be like, what do you mean? How can anybody not like you? He was that friend. And we all need that friend. Just like we need that friend that's going to call you on your shit. We all need those friends too. So, anyway. And I have amazing friends now. And I just talked to one of my friends last night on the phone. And being here, it's a little more challenging because there's that right now between the East Coast and where I'm at, there's a 3-hour time difference. So that makes it a little more challenging. If I'm free at 8 o'clock at night, well, that's 11 o'clock back in Florida and people are done. They're done for the day. Like, I'm in bed, girl. No. And for me, if I happen to be up at 5 in the morning, I'm not like in that chatty mood. I'm just trying to get functional. And then in the early morning, I'm out and I'm doing my videos, right? And then I roll into teaching. And then by the time I'm done teaching, I go in for my doctor's office work. Good morning. You're doing a good protect there, mister. My goodness, this house sounds like it's got a kennel in there. So I know that there's a time difference too. And when I first moved here, a group of us tried to do a Zoom call once a week to stay in touch. And it worked for about a month. And then didn't really work anymore. Time changed. And that hour makes a difference, let me tell you. When we go from 2 to 3 hours time difference, it makes a difference. And I understand that. And they understand that. And I am that friend that we may not talk for a year. And then you pick up the phone and you're like, hey, I'm coming out. And I'm be like, awesome. What time are you arriving at the airport? Make it Tucson. And I will be there to get you. And we will pick up right where we left off. Like no time passed. That's me. That's the kind of person and friend I am. Some people get their feelings hurt if they don't talk to you every day. And I know that. And that's, different personalities. So I just let everybody know up front. You won't hear from me every day. But I'm thinking of you, for sure. So I am so grateful for these friendships that I have made, for all of you that have come into my life that have helped me through multiple challenges in life. And, I hope that I too have been there to help you through your challenges in effective ways. And just some general fun. General fun is good. And everybody's idea of fun is different, right? To me, it's fun when we all get together and go walk through Murakami Park and get a snack or a lunch or something afterwards. That's fun. I don't have to be out partying and dancing on tables. I'm way beyond that in life. And I was also never really that person. So, if my friends are watching, which I hope they are, and subscribed, thank you. Just know that I love you all. And for my new friends and these friendships that I'm cultivating, I love you too. I really do. We are all human and we are all trying to make that connection and make just make it work. It's a crazy world out there. You know, you need to find your people that are going to help you get through the craziness and the sadness and the happy. You want someone to share your happy with too. It's not all bad. Sometimes it feels that way, but it's not all bad. And some things are a little more complicated than others. And I'm here for you. And I thank you all. I really appreciate you. I don't know what brought all that on. I do know that probably my hour-long conversation with Maida. I love you. I love you all. I really do. I appreciate everybody that tunes in, who watches, who's, cultivating a community here online. I appreciate anybody that's walked through the doors of my yoga studio, be it in Florida or here in Arizona. I appreciate it more when you come back frequently and on the regular. I really do. Helps me keep my doors open. So thank you to those of you that do that as well. And I will continue to post our pose of the day. And Miss Pyaar had to stop to go potty. And let's just grow this little channel. Like, subscribe, share, and comment. It helps out. And I will see you very soon. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope that this video helps you to realize that you're not alone and that you do have somebody, and that it's okay to call on your somebodies, and just, know their limitations. There are some people you're not going to call when you want to cry, and then there are some of us that you will call when you want to cry. That's all. And that's okay. Accept all these people for who they are, where they are, because that'll minimize how hurt you feel when you try to, talk to them about something that you think is important, or, if you're going through something and then they kind of flip it around, and maybe they just don't know what to do, how to handle what you're going through. So they try and flip it around and give you a story about something that they think is similar that's happened to them. And then they end up kind of making it about themselves instead of being there for you. Happens a lot with people. Just know that those are the people, when you're going through those things, when you just need to be heard, those are the ones you're not going to call. You're going to call the ones that'll listen. The ones that are just going to go, talk to me, honey. Let me know what's happening. Those are the ones that you call when those things are happening. And the other ones, they're the ones you're going to call when you know what? I just need to hear somebody's voice and I really don't have anything to say. Let me call this person, because I know as soon as I say, hey, how are you? What's going on? Whoosh, the floodgates are opened, and there you go. Miss, you're going to go for 2 more blocks because you can. Okay? We got to the corner of our house and she's turning to go that way. Probably because her tummy is telling her that it is breakfast time and I should be eating right now. But we're getting the whole hood in too. And so we got up extra early. We're going to take that time for extra walking. Oh, another puppy coming out for his walk. So anyway, just remember that you've got friends, that you call on your friends. That's what we're here for. For the bad, for the good, for the in-between. For those times when you're like, shit, I just missed that person. I need to hear their voice. I got nothing to say. They've got nothing to say. But we just need to hear one another's voice. And that's fine. Those are sometimes some of the best calls. And then when we think we have nothing to say, all of a sudden it snowballs, and then 30 minutes later you're like, oh shit, I gotta go. All right, really, that's it for me. Alrighty, so I just hope that you have an amazing day. It is Friday, and getting your weekend on. What are your plans for the weekend? Anything exciting? There is a mental health awareness walk tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. I think I may do that. Didn't have to sign up for it in advance. I thought that was strange. But I think I will go take little Miss Pyaar and we'll do that walk. And we'll see where we go from there. I'm not 100% sure. I noticed that there's a festival in Benson, their 11th annual festival. It's like an American-Mexican thing. And I think Benson's about an hour away. So maybe we'll go to that, check it out. And yeah, and then we'll see where we go. We'll see what tomorrow brings. I've got no great plans. And I, of course, will take you with me wherever I go, whatever I do. We will be checking in with our Arizona adventures. I want you to have an amazing day. I hope you have a great weekend. And feel fabulous, be fabulous. Wear the sequins, it's fine. It doesn't matter where you're going or what you're doing. And I will talk to you very soon.